Happy Halloween, my freakers and tweakers. Today we're totally freaking it, and by it, let's just say, the movie Freaked from 1993. A movie that needs no introduction, it's Freaked. I'm looking at it, you're looking at it. Come on, stop blowing snot bubbles and get with the program, buddy.
Quiet, please.
This review felt like it was a long time coming, since I've had references to this movie for years now. This movie is kinda niche, I guess. I feel like at this point, though, a lot of big YouTubers have covered it.
So much.
You know me, I don't want to step on the toes of the nostalgia creep. His team will come after me.
Stay out of my territory.
I thought I'd finally make the video as well, since Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves got back together to do some kind of stage play. I don't know the name of it. You think I go watch a fucking play? What do you think I am? British?
We're gonna go nuts in there!
This movie is the byproduct of the conjoined brains of Tom Stern and Alex Winter. The latter most would probably recognize, especially in his famous role as Hefty Smurf in the new Smurfs movie, right alongside fan-favorite characters James Corden Smurf and Influencer Smurf, who I'm pretty sure now is lost media because he was caught then cheese pizza.
First of all,
Papa Smurf did not create Influencer Smurf, Diddy did.
and as for the whole gangbang scenario,
His and Tom Stern's talents were showcased in the short-lived sketch show, The Idiot Box, which in many ways was very ahead of its time. I'd like to quickly talk about that show. While it's not as good as Freaked, there's a lot of great stuff to go over. You got classic sketches like Lockjaw, Clerks, The Huggins Family, Battle of the Bands, and of course, the classic Eddie the Flying Gimp from Outer Space.
Look, Mom and Dad, I can fly too!
Don't pretend like you don't know Eddie. Bro's up there with Bug Bunny and Queenie from Cryptoland.
We repeat, the flying gimp has been destroyed.
But my favorite sketch is the one that ends every show, Best of the Idiot Box, narrated by Voltar, the AI host, showcasing the future of television.
One lobotomy, please.
An amazingly prophetic vision in hindsight, like this is basically a Game Grumps sleep aid hosted by Yap Dollar.
Look at this big greedy fuck!
Also notable because of the aggressive intros with Alex Winter, where he's introducing the show while being stabbed and shot by Tony Soprano. Also, I'm not sure if it's the quality of the recording or just his face, but he looks like an entity. Now, I'm not saying that every sketch hits the landing. There's a lot of amazing absurdist humor, but then there's stuff that feels a bit too random XD 2012 humor. That's like criticizing your 90-year-old grandfather for shitting his diaper. Absurdist comedy has come a long way since then, and become far more accepted in the mainstream, which I'd argue that road towards stuff like Tim and Eric was paved by this show.
Once he was a cop so tough, he never even had to pull his trigger.
Is you dead, punk?
Hi, officer. Is there a problem?
So this show was really subversive, incredibly funny, and pretty influential. So of course it only lasted for 6 episodes. Oops. MTV is just a graveyard of great shows that died immediately. They must have more infant coffins in their closet than even Tom Cruise does.
I'm gonna drink your blood.
Though Alex was able to be picked up for a feature film where he had full control, and the budget to fund practical monster effects, a claymation intro, and building an entire model town. Or, in other words, the coolest way for a studio to essentially burn money.
Well, that is if the board agrees. Gentlemen, all those in favor? Good. It's unanimous.
Now enough jibber-jabber about past shows and studio crockpots. Let's get into the damn movie. The premise is somehow both convoluted but also simple. Former child actor and rich brat Ricky Coogan promotes an experimental and dangerous fertilizer for his own financial profit. He and his one Jewish friend end up taking a detour at the freak show, just because a 90s activist wanted to gawk at the physically abnormal. Unfortunately, they end up getting captured by the evil carnival leader, Elijah C. Skuggs, and turned into freaks, each representing their own flaws and character traits.
Till we make them deformed. Michael Jackson.
Like Ricky having his insides exposed as a two-faced, money-hungry goblin. Simple role reversal, almost like a classic fairy tale, just with more references to the Hollywood squares.
In the center square, Mr. Fall in!
This plays into the spirit of the carnival, a world where everything is flipped, and the ones on top are ridiculed and paraded around, while the freaks and rejects get to be the kings. Of course, that's all just pretentious semantics. The plot's real function is to be a framework to hang ridiculous jokes and absurd imagery. Stuff like character arcs are all superficial, wallpaper for anarchistic comedy.
I'm taking it. I'm taking it.
For what most would assume is just a dumb comedy, this movie actually rules visually. Clearly there was a lot of juice let loose on making the style look great. There's so many Dutch angles and Sam Raimi-esque whip pans and zooms. It's like the entirety of the 90s distilled and mixed into a battery acid cocktail. It's like Jonathan Davis and Kurt Cobain playing Banjo-Kazooie nested inside of Carrot Top's pubic hair. What do you mean that simile doesn't make any sense? Well, eat shit! And the set designs. Oh my god. Tim Burton's dumbass wishes he could achieve the glorious architecture of Freakland. Baby, I went to Freakland and everyone knew you there on a first-name basis. I love the Freak Out House especially. After all, it was designed by Bob Thiele.
Who?
The visuals in this movie just go the extra mile. They didn't need to put a giant Elijah head with Rastafarian eyeballs that come out and shoot people with Uzis. Well, actually, maybe they did need to. Someone off-screen was gonna kill Ernie if they didn't put that in. The Cabinet of Caligari ain't got shit on this movie. Especially evident how everyone who made that is now dead, and Alex Winter remains.
Behold! Super Mega!
Maybe.
It's really something, huh?
Very impressive.
The other most impressive part of this movie is its relentless pacing. Its second-to-joke ratio is absolutely astounding. You can immediately tell with the opening, after the claymation title sequence, which I'm pretty sure has a higher kill count than Cholera. There's the quick TV section with Brooke Shields, just in case you were confused about what era this was made in. Then it's the boardroom scene with all-time banger bits like the shrinking guy and the board agreement lever, all in just like 30 seconds of each other. Admittedly, not every gag would make you chortle and snort uncontrollably, like some bits are a bit too reliant on references that most people under 30 wouldn't even get with a gun pressed against their heads. But it's okay because the joke never lingers on. This is especially evident in the airplane scene, where it introduces major characters like Ernie and Stewie, and of course, fan-favorite character, woman shitting on the toilet, who's secretly key to the whole movie. Shh. It's essentially exposition, but there's so many jokes in between that you don't even notice, hitting with the 1-2 bang of Stewie fucking dying and the plane exploding.
Sure glad that wasn't our plane.
I will admit, after that there's a bit of a lull period. Like there's this long part where Ricky disguises himself as a burn victim to impress Megan Ward, which, to be fair, we've all been in that situation. And it just kind of goes on, with the only joke being that she's insulting Ricky to his face without realizing it. It's a relatively lame joke, like what is this, Married with Children? Culminating in him just quickly ripping off his disguise without a bigger punchline. It doesn't end up going anywhere, yet there's more focus brought to it than most jokes in the movie. It feels like a section that was written as a placeholder, but then no one came up with something funnier, so they just released it. But then they do finally take the detour to Freak Country, and it all picks up again. And it really doesn't slow down until the end. Like every other scene is just completely stock full of jokes. Still, there are a few stinkers in between the folds of a 5-star gourmet burrito.
Nah, that's just a regular turd. Looks kind of like Winona Ryder, but oof!
Dude, you better leave her alone. Speaking of characters, you get a wide variety of notable oddballs. So let's meet the freak, shall we? There's, of course, Ricky Coogan, the freak boy himself, dressed in his iconic Ness Earthbound cosplay. Alex plays Ricky without an ounce of subtlety. He goes full into making him a rich, disgusting sleazebag. To the film's benefit, he's an absurdist caricature of a sellout celebrity turned man-made abomination. His physicality is amazing in this movie. I love watching him stagger around like a hunchback. And his voice sounds just like a Sam Raimi Ghoul Man.
I found some macaroons and there's plenty for all of us!
But there's more psychological characterization going on under the hood. Ricky's conscious, or Freudian superego, is represented physically by a ginger troll boy named Stewie. So they have this superfan stalker kid representing the former innocence of Ricky, almost like a Tiny Tim to his Mr. Scrooge. So they take this innocent little character, and then they just beat the absolute fuck out of him for the entire movie. He gets his head slammed, thrown out of an airplane, thrown through more windows than the guy in RoboCop, and finally captured by the government and tortured. I really love Stewie in this movie. The accident-prone character that gets continually injured is already like a trope in comedies, but in here it's taken to the nth degree, having this rosy-cheeked Mad Magazine kid having like Mortal Kombat fatalities. It reminds me of a later film. Yes, unfortunately, I must bring up Freddy Got Fingered. It too had an innocent kid getting increasingly maimed in the runtime, but in that the violence is somewhat realistic and disgusting, whereas Stewie's is still pretty cartoony. In many ways, Freddy Got Fingered is actually similar to this movie, almost like its freak's less stylish, evil younger brother.
Honey, that's my son, my little baby boy. They're holding him hostage.
I did all this for you. Nipples pierced. Can you do it like this?
Then there's the friends of Ricky, Ernie and Julie, with the latter acting as the studio-mandated love interest, and the former acting only as ambiguous love interest. Out of the character tier list, these two are definitely towards the bottom. I feel like they're here for 90s star power and studio structure than rather actual fit for the material. Because we know teens love Megan Ward, and the sex appeal of the rat-faced brother from Blossom can't be denied. Their whole freak gimmick isn't bad, I'll admit. Bro, douchebag, and feminist lit major are forced to share the same body, so that way gender politics can be solved with Three Stooges bits. Yippee!
Men and women truly are equals. That the human spirit transcends gender and physical appearance, and thus it is immune to the petty degradations men may devise. So true.
I'm impressed that Megan Ward embraced the tone of this movie, and in the case of Michael Stoniov, they both have some good lines here and there. I enjoy how the script is quite aware how forced Ricky and Julie's romance is, making it a clear parody of other movies, though I still think they're deeply overshadowed by the great supporting cast.
It's the lost city of Nod. It's Old Faithful.
Ooh. It's my Aunt Gertie and Uncle Sid.
Oh.
It's my bar mitzvah!
Now, the rest of the freaks are more part of the greater ensemble cast, which people might complain that they exist simply as one-joke gimmicks, but I strongly disagree. Despite the freaks' limited screen time, they still are shown to have past lives, talents, and hopes and dreams, making them fully rounded characters which you could explore for generations upon generations. And as I list them, I'll be putting them on the dedicated freak tier list.
But as for weirdos, not a one.
The first freak we meet apart from our main cast is Ortiz the Dog Boy, based on the Dogman cryptid, which I've done a lot of research on.
I'm a dog.
Ortiz is the de facto leader of the freaks and a romantic rival to Ricky. He basically fits the same palette as Gregory in the South Park movie, being both a rival and role model, which Ricky has to improve to become. But he's gotten that dog in him, you see. He doesn't get a shown backstory or a performance, and disappears a third into the story for Ricky to take over. He's alright, but not one of the best, especially since he has easily the worst costume in the movie, but he goes up a couple ranks when you find out his casting. Under all that terrible carpet glued to his face is the one, the only Keanu Reeves, making an uncredited cameo in support of his friend Alex Winter. So you really have no idea it's him since he's doing this terrible accent, but at least it's better than his British accent.
My shoe when I hit the floor.
Then you got Worm, one of the most tortured and tragic characters in film history. Once a famous biologist obsessed with being a worm, but the monkey paw curled. Now his entire character arc revolves around finding someone to wipe his ass.
Now in retrospect, I think the whole thing is a fucking headache. I'd sell my soul just to be able to wipe my own ass.
Worm has a bunch of iconic lines, despite not having a show performance, but it was likely a spelling bee judging from his outfit. Obviously, he's based off the mascot Bookworm, which gives me nostalgia to a long, long time ago, when a guy named Beef Stew desperately wanted a certain donkey to play Bookworm adventures. Gee, I wonder what that guy is up to now.
Oh my goodness!
I think I know what you're going through. You see, I too had an eating disorder.
Now here's a transition to Mr. T, who he himself transitioned into the Bearded Lady, an early and unappreciated trans icon. Awarded actor Mr. T perfectly balances both the feminine and the masculine, accepting herself as a woman. This revelation was actually guided by Elijah, showing a softer side of him as a true LGBTQ+ ally.
You know, you'd be better off without a dick. Hey, you can keep the beard.
And next we have Cowboy. Despite looking akin to that twisted fucking dolphin man which keeps me up at night, don't let his appearance fool you. Cowboy is one of the most morally upright members of the Freaks, feeling for Ricky, and offering his down-home wisdom to help guide Ricky on the right path, convincing Ricky to embrace his spirituality and connect to the little troll boy, allowing for the positive outcome at the end of the story. Essentially, Cowboy is key to achieving the end game.
Hi, Rick. Cowboy. I'll miss your good humor, your down-home wisdom, and those frothy milkshakes were utterly delicious.
Just as important as Sockhead, mainly notable for being voiced by Bobcat Goldthwait. He's also a pretty tragic character like Worm, being shown to be terrible at storytelling, but musically fantastic. Unfortunately, much like Milli Vanilli, he's exposed in front of the public as a fake during his big act. This part probably has my favorite line in the entire movie.
Puppeteering is an admirable skill in its own right. Now, give him his due.
Speaking of tragedy, Sockhead is suddenly gunned down by the mob, dying horribly, making him the only freak to die. Fly high, Sockhead.
Lots of us freaks got ESP, and Sockhead, he's got ESPN.
Watch out, Hulkster! He's gonna try the skull cracker!
Then we have Nosy the Noseman. I'll be honest, I fucking hate this guy. He's like my day one op. I don't think anyone likes him. Like, what the fuck is this performance? Why is he dressed up like Roman from that one movie? It should have been him, not Sockhead.
Nosy, I never really liked you.
Suck my dick!
Fair enough.
God, I'm taking way too long on this. I better speed up the process a little bit. Rosie the Pinhead is the obvious sex appeal of the movie. I feel like a few of her scenes were a bit gratuitous, but I enjoy her character nonetheless.
She's terrible.
You can't sing.
I love her.
From the diaphragm.
The Eternal Flame, what do you want me to say? He actually has a very detailed punish arc which has a harrowing conclusion, but unfortunately I don't have the time to go into that now.
The eternal flame! Fire the hole!
I think they're visually neat. I love the fact that they're wearing different colored Converse, but I will say the joke feels a bit outdated. Left eye is E tier, right eye gets A tier. My goat.
You don't know about Elijah's giant Rasta eyeballs with machine guns.
Oh, boy's gone off the deep end.
The other freak servant of Skuggs is Mr. Toad. He eats a bunch of things with a funny practical effect, and then gets blown up by Ernie with firecrackers. The only important thing that Schmuck does the entire movie.
I told you enough!
Speaking of amphibians, there's the hideous frogman. Yeah. And best of all, there's... Oh, turns out I forgot a freak. Right in center square is none other than... Dirty Mole Man?
I've been hired to do a cameo in today's video about the movie called Freaked, and my job's to wake you up, so jingle jingle, jingle jingle. And John also said no rules. Critical blunder. Suboptimal choice. Cue the Donkey Train video. I'm pretty sick right now recording my line, so I'll have to apologize. To absolutely no one! Guys, I only took this job because November's been really hard and idle hands are the devil's dick touchers, so before my pork pistol explodes like a shotgun. So doctor's orders were jump head first into important work like this. And there's no rules, so here's a dash of Nintendo music. In the movie, it's pretty funny. I like it.
Sorry.
That's a lot of milk.
This isn't one of those movies where you leave it running while you go drop a chocolate hostage in the porcelain throne. Once you start it and you watch this wheelchair guy fall out of the airplane, you're locked in until the credits. Speaking of credits, I hope John was smart enough to put an epilepsy warning on this shit because look at these opening credits. And with any movie that doesn't want to fall flat on its face and be worth watching, there's a splash of racism. And I love racism. Cut that out. Bleep that, John. Please. Anyway, that's about it. See ya.
What the fuck was that?
Alright, saving the best for last, we have the one, the only, Elijah C. Skuggs. Even if this is a star vehicle for Alex Winter, I'd argue they gave the best lines to Skuggs. It's amazing when the antagonist is the standout, especially when it's already a stacked cast. This is no doubt due to him being played by Randy Quaid, who I've already given my praises to before in his role in Parents. He somehow acts as both the over-the-top wacky villain, but occasionally also the most down-to-earth character in the entire movie.
That's a lot of milkmen on the same route. No wonder they fight.
A lot of the most quotable lines and moments come from Elijah. He's just incredible. Like, genuinely, I think Skuggs might be one of my favorite characters in all of fiction. I'm being dead serious.
I just love the family circus.
I mean, watch this one scene and try to disagree he hasn't been segmented in film history forever.
No more screw-ups, okay?
Styrofoam cup.
I mean, this role was so good that big government sent their best soldiers to psyop and gaslight the actor out of Hollywood forever. A certain state, I'm not gonna say who, knew he was too powerful to be kept around, threatening to turn all the corrupting powers into freakish monsters, which they pretend not to actually be. Now, he'll be forever misjudged as a maniac crazy person. However, I'd like to state that I personally not only accept everything he said, but publicly endorse it. So please, join the Quad Squad against those horrible Hollywood pedophiles. God bless free country. Hallelujah.
After all, you have ventured miles away from civilization, hospitals, telephones, police.
Like any good movie, there's not just one villain, but two. Now, if it had 3 villains, maybe this movie could have been as good as Spider-Man 3. Laughing Man is revealed to be Dick Bryan, CEO of Everything Except Shoes, of course played by William Sadler, aka Bill and Ted's Grim Reaper. It's great to see him alongside Skuggs, with some added sexual tension, may I add. Importantly, I think he goes into the only real theme this movie has, the underlying tone of anti-studio. Every decision was made to go against what a major movie studio would want. It's offensive, grotesque, and just plain dog-dumb stupid. So it tracks that the true villain would be a greedy consumerist company that wants to ultimately turn their workers into man-made freaks, maximizing utility and efficiency. It's of course extremely goofy, but there's a point being made here. This works against Skuggs, who despite being evil and corrupt, is a sort of artist, wanting to transform people for his own spectacle. While part of his motivation is selling his art, you can tell after the whole carnival fiasco, he enjoys it for the chaos that it is. In a way, I see Skuggs as a sort of stand-in for the film's creators, creating something incredibly disgusting for their own pleasure. This goes into the ending where they plan the biggest show of all time, Ricky Freak turning into some sort of super freak and killing all of his friends.
This machine is now the sole property of the Everything Except Shoes Corporation.
What?
Eat shit, yokel.
I knew I couldn't trust you, corporate greaseball.
Quick ending summary time. After their first date fails, Dick double-crosses Skuggs, so he turns him into a shoe, symbolizing how he secretly had a fetish for shoving his Johnson into stinky Skechers sneakers. At the same time, Stewie gets ooze dropped on him by some skeezy biker and becomes Super Stewie. So we basically get kind of like a Marvel fight, where the good guy fights essentially an evil guy with the same powers as him. Though the Skullcracker doesn't end up working, and evil Ricky is about to lend the killing blow on Stewie. When it all seems lost, suddenly, it cuts to a commercial, which don't you hate it when an ad pops up right as you're getting invested?
Hey folks, viewer mail time again. Oh, here's one from Sally, age 14. Dear Pig.
Need you to take a picture with your ass out and your back bent in with your pussy barely peeking through from a low angle.
Anyway, Cowboy saves the day by getting through to Ricky. Basically some Steven Universe bullshit happens where they stop a genocidal warlord by saying, "This isn't you! Snap out of it!" And the day is saved. Skuggs is quickly defeated, getting punted into a bowl of frothing dip and transformed into the most disgusting creature yet, Brooke Shields, allowing us to finally get this fucking review over with. Now, there's been enough racist interruptions, and I just want to get this video out so I have more than 4 uploads this year. So the epilogue of the movie begins where it left off, with Ricky... God fucking damn.
Hello, Australia's here, speaking to you from inside a carnival. It's scary. Today, I've been lawfully enlisted by my good friend John. Talked about the movie Freaked. As we all know, Freaked is a movie about a dashing vampire hunter called Ricky Dugan, nicknamed Dean the Movie, going on a heroic quest to stop an evil vampire's money-making scheme where he will dump countless loads of toxic chemicals into the Eurasian river or whatever. However, I'm not like any of those other movie reviewers who recap the movie for a whole hour. As a matter of fact, I am deeply disturbed, and I regularly disobey the law. So instead of telling you about the movie, I'm going to tell you what the movie's message is. I have watched this movie extensively. Roughly around 73 ant years of my life has been spent watching, analyzing, synthesizing, and researching this movie. And, without a shadow of a doubt, I can say with complete, whole, utter, genuine, divine clarity that this movie is trying to shine anti-Semitism into the good light. Lo, my claims may seem utterly deranged to the untrained eye, but observe closer, under the skin and in the bones of the movie. It's there, and it's real. I've seen it for myself. I've got proof. Take the famous scene where little Billy gets vacuum sucked out of the brain, with old man Roger following suit. If you look closely, the actor that got chosen to play the old man's nose is above average in size, clearly depicting a Jewish man as disabled and nothing more than a comedic sketch. I confirmed this when I dug up the old hag's grave and measured the nose myself. Continuing on with the theming of prejudice against other races, the entire movie's themes about vampires needing to be killed by a truly breathtaking hero, Ricky D. Dugan, so great his beauty that he made a 50-year-old straight married man ejaculate directly into his pants upon seeing him, is actually a metaphor for black people being given crack by the 40th United States President, Ronald Reagan. Think about it. Strange green chemicals are given to normal white folk, who upon contact with a slovenly concoction are transformed into hideous beasts and monsters, typically with a darker skin color. It's a borderline textbook allusion to black people. They even reference how it spreads, after all. Everyone knows that black is a disease that gets spread when in close contact with carriers, or when you enjoy blasting they hiccups and twerking them assholes too much under your Corolla Toyotas. Little known fact, the movie's creator, Alex Winter, is a child predator, and the whole Freaked scheme was a grab at a position of higher power in order to become great enough to regularly wiggle chins with the world's greatest best girl grabber and all-time record holder for most young boys touched in 30 seconds, Jeffrey Epstein. Thankfully, against all odds, the plan fell through, only earning $30,000 bungalow dollars. As compared to the near $10 million spending budget of the movie, they didn't get their money's worth. The only positive outcome of this is the many releases Alex Winter, also known as Ricky D. Dugan's, ISIS beheading videos on the internet. Serves him right for not being successful.
Fuck, that guy was even worse than the first guy. Man, what the fuck was I even talking about? If only someone could recap the events for me briefly.
The freaks ate some magic cookies and Skuggs was turned into Brooke Shields' Jockey Rose. Each said and died John.
Right, thank you, Voltar. So Ricky is turned back into normal after eating the antidote hidden in some macaroons, as well as everyone except Worm, because he doesn't like those kind of cookies. Everything is good, Brooke Shields get a shot a bunch, and the forced romance plot is completed. It's weird that they don't show everyone's original form, only a couple of them, and then for some reason they just hold on the audience. You do get to briefly see them after, but it's not really said which who is who. It feels like they lost footage or something. That's the only real flaw with this movie, other than some of the jokes not really landing, is this film feels like it was barely finished before being kind of pumped out. Probably ran out of budget, or hell, maybe they just kind of said good enough and ended it early. Kind of like what I'm going to do for this video right now.